Bang! Rights Crispy here from Bolt Action News Group, and I've been talking this whole time with no sound. Thank you. There's always a glitch. Thanks for everybody who's watching now, everybody who's in the chat, and everybody who's watching in the future. But yeah, thanks, Lou, for always being a strong supporter and helping me out just now. Rogue Nation's here. We're going to do a quick breakdown of a video and a channel. Food Toy, my brother. That's my brother Food Toy in Ireland. So we'll be watching this video with you guys, and we'll be joined by San Joaquin Valley Transparency here pretty soon. He's going to give his input, and you'll be able to watch it on his channel too. He's going to restream from here. Yeah, we're going to do this before this hurricane shows up. It's pretty calm right now. I don't know if we're even going to have to evacuate, but that's what we're going to do here now. What's up, Joe Cool? Thanks for being here. Liberty Freak. A champion of freedom calling us champions of freedom. I'm honored by that, brother. Thank you. If you guys don't know Liberty Freak, that guy made probably the best case law for our movement than anybody has done. Several people, including shout out to Justin Pulliam. He just did one yesterday. Thank you for all your efforts, Justin, and thanks to whoever made that judgment. That was great. You know, giving us the valid credibility of actual journalism. Every citizen can be a journalist and get your story out there. It's not exclusive for newspapers and periodicals, it said, quote unquote. But yeah, so Abade Irizarry versus Yahia. I know it's IRIZARRY versus YEHIA. Look that up and you'll see how cops in the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals places, which include Oklahoma and Colorado, they can't grimace at you anymore. It could be construed as trying to intimidate you from getting the whole story, and now they have to do service with a smile. And it also said that we are the press. This is the press. He was getting a story, and the cops tried to stop him from getting the full story. Anyways, that aside, that's some of the awesome people who we have in the chat. This video that we're going to watch is from 4ENSIC Media, the number 4, and then ENSIC Media. You can see his channel link is also in my community section, but I'll put one in the description at the end of this live stream. This guy is like, if you guys like Lackluster or Audit the Audit, he's the new better one. I'm going to say that hands down, the best breakdown of police interaction video channel that I've ever seen. He has 8 subscribers right now. Let me see. No, he has 8 videos, and he has 213 subscribers right now. But go to his channel, bring that number up, and hit the like button if you like what he likes, or if you like what he does, and hit the bell notification so you don't miss any of his uploads or any live stream notifications. Same with us. Anybody who's watching now who is worried for my safety, we're fine here. The hurricane hasn't hit. I'm going live to do this, not because stupid cop is about to arrest us, like I've told many of you before. That's what we need you for, not just to be fans, but to be watching our backs when we're out there. Nate, get your old man up here, Nate. Good to see you, brother. Joko, what's up to you too? Let me take a minute to interact with the audience here while we wait for San Joaquin. Downey Transparent Eye, what's up, man? Ajot is here. Ajot, I'm going to get you that soon. Any questions, comments, agreements, disagreements about anything? There's been a lot going on in the community. last night was pretty funny. I saw a restream of a restream. They were having a restream battle, 2 channels. If you know, you know. Joe Cool letting Downey and everyone know that Long Island Audits is out. He was arrested yesterday for the 3rd time in the same place. I mean, that's the epitome of you can't fix stupid. People, yeah, and I'm talking about the government arresting him, not him being stupid right there.
Right. I mean, the charges have been dismissed the first 2 times. I mean, what do you think's going to happen the 3rd time?
Right.
It's just like it's like taking candy from a baby, right? Like it's literally like taking candy from a baby. Like the stupidity knows no bounds. Like
it's ego too. The ego and stupidity, and you'll see that very, very apparent in this video we're gonna watch. Who donated? What? Lou, thank you, brother. That super chat will go to good work, brother. I promise you that. I'm not gonna buy myself a Rolex Submariner like some other channels will do with their son when they're RVing across the country. Dude, don't put up a GoFundMe asking help to keep me on the road and then flaunt matching Rolexes. Like, if you want to, try to audit this community and keep ourselves in check like the police internal affairs, start there, y'all. Start there, even though nobody takes a penny from our taxes except the government, You guys stay focused. Stay focused. I mean, to quote the angry veteran, our mission, man, stay focused. And I'm not quoting him, but you know what I mean? We do have a mission. I believe we do. And I think it's for positive change in our government, our policing, and positive change to different degrees depending on opinions. Flying Auditor, thank you, brother. Appreciate you, man. Look at that, $50. I'm going to put that to good use, I promise you. Yeah, positive change can vary in people's opinions. Some may say positive change is, anarchy. Or some other may say positive change is not having militarized police and not paying them so damn much and us reaching down to make them millionaires within a year of retirement. Like, wake up and look at where the money is actually really going on police budgets. You want to stop crime? Well, make sure that they're actually fighting crime instead of just generating revenue and stuffing the jail full of unhoused people or homeless people, like people say. It's just keeping the jails and the numbers up to justify that request for next year's budget. Give us money because we're fighting crime. The crime's down. No, it's not. You're not actually fighting crime. Human trafficking is still going on all over this planet, and it's people are either involved or they're turning a blind eye, or they're not just turning a blind eye, they're burying their head in the sand because it's such a disturbing thing. But I got a knot in my stomach that I want to untie by exposing that stuff, finding where the government is assisting human traffickers. And no human traffickers operate without government assistance. No organization doesn't have a cop working with them or something, So, yeah, and it's not just the government. Yes, Hollywood, Tinseltown, the fake town. They're controlling people, and they're working with the government to make sure that people are consuming and falling in line and just being handled well. So try to break free of that. Shout out to Ceiling Fan Man. You guys could watch this guy's channel tomorrow night. Rogue Nation and I will be on there giving an after action report to the hurricane that's about to hit us. Mass Accountability, my other brother. Thank you for being here, bro. And I got to give him credit for life-changing advice. He put me on a health kick. Let's just say that. So thank you, Mass Accountability. And yeah, did he done it? You saw the mayor of New York was indicted by the FBI last night. Let me send this link out one more time because I think SJVT might only be able to get it on one phone. Thanks for your patience, folks.
Anonymous Lawn Transformations asked if you heard from Constitutional Corner, donated $5. I said, yeah.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Constitutional Corner and Anonymous Lawn Transformations. I appreciate you. That's awesome. I will put that to good use as well. I love those channels. Anonymous Lawn Transformation, when you just go help maybe somebody who is bedridden, they can't get out there and mow their lawn. If you go out there and do it for them, God bless you.
Thank you to the Kiwi for that awesome comment.
The Kiwi, where's that?
That's right up above Mass Accountability's last post.
Pepper? Let me see. Oh, okay. We all appreciate your service to uneducated citizens everywhere. You are leaders and inspirations to all truth seekers. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you. Uneducated citizens, that's a tough uphill battle. I like to focus more on uneducated or miseducated government officials, including law enforcement, but just all government who should know their job, have been trained in their job, and are actually doing the opposite of their job sometimes. That's the big problem first. An uneducated citizen is free to be uneducated. They want to, I can't hold them accountable. Hey, you should know my rights. I saw a prank channel mocking us and doing that in a park and just picking on people and putting his camera up behind their books and saying, what you read? And they were like, dude, very politely asking him to leave them alone. And I guess he's just working against what we're working for, and just for his prank channel. So he sucks. Monkey, what's up, my brother? That's another brother. Old guy Mitch, how are you doing, sir? You saw we went to Union County. I know you know about that. In 2013, Union County sheriff's deputies were found to be KKK members. Shocker. They were prison guards, and a retired Army sniper was recruited by the FBI to pose as a member and infiltrate them, and he did successfully. And you know what? That's under the current sheriff's father's watch. The current sheriff is the son and grandson of the previous two sheriffs. So you see that family dynasty, and the community loves them because they believe they're bullshit. Just like Grandpa GJ down in Polk County. Everybody thinks he's a swell guy. He's like the guy you shake hands at outside of church every Sunday. And he probably is. He probably makes sure that he shakes more hands than the pastor or the priest, right? Wherever he goes to church. He's just that self-aggrandizing dude. I think they now have body cams in Polk County, Florida, but they were fighting it and proud of not having them. And I don't know if they all do. Do you know?
What's that?
Body cams in Polk County yet?
Hell no.
You sure?
Yeah.
I think they started them in January.
Grady Judge said that the privacy of his deputies is the most important thing.
And he wants to be able to maintain control of that false narrative that he puts out at all his long-winded grandpa story time press conferences.
Dude, that motherfucker be spinning them up better than Disney.
Dude, our first records request that we did was in Polk County. It was Corey and I. Government accountability. He's down in Polk County. And he and I went and asked for the names of these CPs or PDFs that were arrested in a mass sting. And none of those names came up in the records request. They said that they didn't have them. when we saw him talking about it at the press conference, how he arrested 100 and something people, and later on that year they arrested 80 something more people for the same, SA crimes, horrible things against little kids, right? And man, when they finally gave us like the arrest report for one of them, and we were like, okay, so this did happen. What's with all the rest of the stuff? The state attorney said that it's such an egregious crime, we can't put it out there until we get a conviction. I'm like, all these hundreds of dudes, you want of the worst crime possible, you want to give them a break, but some kid who just got busted for pot or something, and you still haven't proven that, you put his name all over the internet, and it's like peeing in a swimming pool. You can't get it out, right? So it's so weird how the only reason I can think that they're so favorable to them is what I was mentioning earlier, is that there's some kind of deal going on. I'm just thinking, that's my opinion, but out of the hundreds and hundreds of arrests that they made in 2019 for those crimes, guess how many convictions they got? Take a wild guess. Let's hear it in the comments. If you can guess how many convictions they got out of hundreds of arrests in 2019 in Polk County. If you guessed one, you guessed correctly. Ding, ding, ding. One lousy arrest. That means to tell me that tells me that somebody is getting their wheels greased. And it could be a shakedown operation that they do every year. And that's why they have so many press conferences about the same damn thing in the same damn county every few months, every year. It's like somehow a convention center for it, And I don't mean to laugh at something like that, but when you have the Super Bowl in your town, you better believe that that's where horrible human trafficking is happening. It's going to be in those hotels, and yeah, just beware. Next February.
Brooke donated 5 to you.
Thank you, Brooke Cameron. Always supporting with much love and respect from Prince Edward Island, Canada. I love my Canuck brothers and sisters. Thank you.
And then Tread Not has a good question there right below that.
All right, Tread Not. What do you think is the best way to flush out corruption from any level? Right there. Your camera on your phone. That is the witness that doesn't lie.
Also, inside information.
Yes.
Don't discount the fact that somebody wants to move up in their position and is willing to throw their boss under the bus if they know.
We run a see something, say something operation.
We absolutely run a see something, say something program, and it's worked perfectly in the past and will continue to work great into the future, my friends. So start one in your local area.
Yep. And actually, speaking of see something, say something, we had a citizen who had something happen to them, and she gave us some good info, and that's coming out in our next couple of videos. We went down to a police department and filed a complaint on her behalf. Well, if you see something wrong that somebody does to somebody else, you can still complain about that. I don't like how that cop treated that person. It doesn't have to be on you. If you see a cop beating somebody's ass on the side of the road for no reason, you don't drive along like, it wasn't me. You go to that police department and you say, hey, I saw this vehicle number and this person getting roughed up. Make sure it was justifiable and it was proper paint compliance. If not, get rid of that monster. Stop protecting those people who are abusing that badge and treating it like a crown.
And Joe Cool with the $5 on the conspiracy theory. Way to go, Joe.
Thank you, Joe. Canada is a myth. Bigfoot is real. They call him a Yeti up there, no? Or no, Wendigo.
And we have the Swamp Man down here. That's Bigfoot down here, Swamp Man.
What's it called? It's called the Swamp something. Swamp Ape.
Swamp Ape.
Yeah, the Swamp Ape. Frank Pants, hey, Rich Crispy, hey, everyone. Can't hang out. Day drinking for happy hour. Cheers. Cheers to Frank Pants. That guy drives a beater and drops off freedom, or what's the name? Flex Your Freedoms into traps. He says Ming Ling is there and not there. So You set him up.
We actually came across Ming Ling in Philly. We saw the massage parlor. Remember the Happy Hands massage parlor? She was working out there. So Flex is in the wrong part of the country. Somebody get word to him. Philly, that's where she's at.
How did I miss that? Was that one of those times that I wasn't there? Sorry, Mom. I'll call you back. So that was my mom. Let me mute this. Yeah, I missed that one. Where was Ming Ling?
The Happy Hands massage parlor in Philadelphia. We saw it. I'm pretty sure I saw her going in.
Farlap. Man, thank you. Farlap Moves gifted 5 Rights Crispy memberships. Thank you, folks. If you decide to become a member, sometimes I'll put out like a sneak peek or something, but then eventually that becomes public. So if you want to first look at it, that's pretty much what you'll get out of a membership. Other than if you do send me anything from this channel, I put it to good use towards this work. I don't use it personally. I put it to good use with this channel. So thank you. And thanks everybody who who's in the chat and who is watching now or in the future. I'm going to go ahead and start this video. San Joaquin might have some trouble connecting, but let me just start presenting this and he can join us later on. All right, I'm going to share my screen and close this out. You guys don't need to see all that. And entire screen. Let's do that. This one, and I'll bring this over here. All right. And put the audio on for that. Can you guys see that all right? And let me know if you can hear it okay. Let's watch the intro. Again, this is for Enzic Media and his breakdown of body cam footage of this woman. Look at her. This 64-year-old lady coming back from doing groceries was accused by a Karen of trespassing or whatever, and the cop just went full Nazi on her. So let's watch this.
VETA, stupid.
Can you all hear that okay?
On June 23rd, 2024, at about 2 p.m., 64-year-old Vita Mines went grocery shopping to the local Food for Less, about 2 miles from her apartment. She doesn't drive, so she does this walk quite regularly. On one of her previous trips to the store, she took notice that the occupants of a home on the 1200 block of East Woodland Street appeared to be moving out. So on this day, when she was walking by that house, it appeared to be unoccupied, and her thought was that perhaps the house would be on the market as a rental property soon. So she decided to take a closer look at the yard to see if it would be ideal for her dog if she were to rent the home. She took about 10 steps onto the property and was stopped in the side yard by an angry neighbor, who from her window yelled at Vita that she could not be on the property. Vita immediately turned around, left, and proceeded on her way to Food for Less. It appears at some point that the angry neighbor noticed some sort of vandalism to the home as well, but the angry neighbor was well aware that Vita was not near the area of the house where the vandalism occurred. So it appears the call for service to the police was to both trespass Vita and report the observed vandalism. Once Vita completed her shopping, she began her walk back home on the same route she took to the store. Meanwhile, Field Training Officer Austin Mudd and Officer Skylar Parker with the Springfield, Missouri Police Department arrived at the angry neighbor's house at approximately 3 p.m. And after speaking with the angry neighbor's son for about 90 seconds, he notices Vita walking down the street on her return trip from the store. He points her out to the officers, and Officer Parker goes to initiate contact with her.
I saw her walking back there, and I yelled at my mom that somebody's going in the backyard, and I ran out and stopped her.
Yeah, okay. When was the last time you guys noticed?
That's actually a female right there.
Okay.
That's actually a female right there. Look at this little Karen's son. This guy, he's like sicking these dogs on her. He's like, that's actually the female right there. Like he's a cop calling out the female suspect or whatever. The Karen is inside, and she barked at this lady to get off. The lady just took off, scared, like she didn't want to. I'm just recapping it, and I just don't like how I mean, you see this kid's wearing a headphone. He's just in there, you know, killing zombies and getting his life cooking with the cops out here. You know, he doesn't care that there's a whole elderly woman's life being ruined and tortured by these cops because of them and their stupid Karen syndrome, man. You know what I mean? Anyways, here we go.
Right over there.
Now, as you're about to see, these officers do not understand how trespassing works. So let's cover it now so there's no question about their ignorance. Missouri Revised Statute 569.150, second degree trespassing. A person commits trespass in the second degree if he or she enters unlawfully upon the real property of another. This is an offense of absolute liability. A violation of the statute is an infraction, meaning you just get a ticket with a maximum fine of $200. Missouri is the only state that has the "this is an offense of absolute liability" wording in a trespassing law, and it appears to only exacerbate an officer's ability to understand the law, or it is just the basis for a lie they frequently use to make citizens believe they are actually trespassing. Whether it is ignorance or malice, both officers appear to infer that because the law states it is an offense of absolute liability, a person trespasses the moment they set foot on private property, and this is absolutely false. Take a look at the law again. A person commits trespass in the second degree if he or she enters unlawfully upon the real property of another. The absolute liability is contingent upon it being determined that a person has entered the property unlawfully, which Vita did not do. There are two simple factors in determining unlawful entry to a property. Number one, was the person made aware prior that entry is not permitted, either verbally or by visual indicators? 2. Did the person refuse to leave after being made aware entry is prohibited? It is only those two things that constitute trespassing. Do you get it now, Mudd and Parker? Trespassing is entering when made aware prior it is prohibited, or staying after being told to leave. That is it. That is the threshold you are required to meet prior to initiating an investigatory detention for trespassing. Detaining someone without this threshold being met is a Fourth Amendment violation.
All right, I'm going to stop it again and just point out how articulate and well put together this video is. Like, this guy is the best at what he does, in my opinion, and he deserves a sub. And let him know that I sent you. If you do end up, after considering subscribing, you end up doing it. So I appreciate it, because I mean, this is a type of person who needs 3 million subscribers. The kind of guy who can really get the message out correctly, you know, and without having to do retractions and without giving, you know, a bootlicking opinion either, you know. He's just about the facts. He's very, very fair and non-biased. And you'll see that in the comment section. He's got so many bootlickers in this comment section, and I swore to stop saying that word, but some of them are just bootlickers. Go check it out on his channel and see the comment section and let them know that he has our support.
Hey, police, stop. Yes, you.
Officer Parker cannot legally order Vita to stop. All he is authorized to do in this situation is initiate a consensual encounter. But this is what happens when undereducated officers are unleashed on society. You will notice that his overall behavior is unprofessional and egregious, as he mishandles and escalates this entire unlawful interaction.
Can I help you?
Yeah. So, somebody seen you,
The
into
house
the backyard?
was-
Yeah.
well, see, I seen the people move out, and they had a box of stuff. When they moved out, that was in the yard for for free. So I seen they moved out, and I said, "Well, I'm gonna check out the backyard, see how big it is, because it's empty." She cussed me up once I'm down the
Who did?
other. That lady.
Who? This lady?
Yes, she did. She said,
Cussed you out?
can't. Yeah, she says you can't go back there. Don't you ever send anybody back there in that yard.
Within a few seconds of Officer Parker speaking with Vita, she understands what he's inquiring about, and even though she's not required to do so by law, she begins explaining to him what transpired. She most likely didn't know that she did not have to talk to him, but it is probably best that she did, because given his demeanor, he probably would have initiated an unlawful arrest immediately.
I said, "Ma'am, I wasn't going in there."
Yeah, I'm going to agree with him there too. It's like, don't ever talk to the cops, ever. But in this situation, her talking to the cops probably saved her from getting arrested right away, you know? And look at her. Does she look like a criminal? Does she look like she's gonna vandalize that place and then come back with 2 bags full of groceries back to the scene of the crime? Like, what common sense eludes these cops and their egos get in the way? It's just infuriating. And I mean, this one hit me hard because she reminds me of a few of my friends' moms. You know what I mean? Just a nice, sweet little, and she reminds me of my wife's deceased grandma too. Just a little tiny lady that wouldn't harm a fly. And the way that this cop treats her, I'm going to go ahead and skip to that part. You know, she's giving her story back and forth. I want you to watch the entire video on Forensic Media's channel. Please give him the view entirely, because it's really worth seeing his commentary on all this stuff. He's so thorough. And they put her in cuffs and they sit her down here in this driveway. She's saying she's thirsty and it's hot because she walks that whole way, right? And then the folks who live here, they want to move. They want to drive out of there. So they say something, and look how this cop treats this lady.
Thank you. I'll get it. I appreciate it.
Looks like you're struggling there. I want to help. Can I help?
Nope.
No, you don't.
Nope. Don't want no help. I've been doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of years by myself.
Hey, we're gonna move over here.
Don't worry about that. I'll get it.
I got it.
Put my stuff down.
Come on,
please.
we're going over here. You better stand up before I make you stand up.
Oh, yes, sir, master.
Get over here.
Yes,
you're being
master.
weird.
Yes,
Stand over
master.
here.
Yes, master.
You're good.
Oh, this is far enough. Hey, far enough.
That is far enough.
You can hear the trauma that she's already gone through in her voice. If you can't hear that, watch the whole video on this man's channel and thank him for exposing this too.
Yeah, buddy. Oh. Well, I need to call my son. I really do.
Well, I think we're past that.
Why? Why can't I call my son?
I'm not gonna let you.
Why?
Because the way you're acting. I don't like the way you're acting.
I don't think I even need to say anything about that remark. But what I do want to say is, even though Vita is not well versed in the law and her rights, her common sense and ongoing commentary are amazing. Her rapier wit is on target and hitting these officers where it hurts, repetitively. She should be proud of how she handled herself here. I can't fault her for speaking with the cops because, as I said before, Officer Parker would have most likely thrown her in cuffs immediately and arrested her on the spot.
Well, I don't like the way you guys are acting to me either.
Well, how was I acting? I was being nice to you, and then you started yelling.
In typical bad apple fashion, they have initiated an illegal detainment, not conducted the investigation properly.
Rogue Nation's taking off. See you later, bro.
Later, guys.
Escalated the emotions of the interaction, did not collect Vita's statement cohesively and professionally, and used excessive force. And it took Officer Mudd this long to either realize that Vita didn't commit trespassing, or while he was sitting in the car running her for warrants, he called someone who told him that he could not cite her for trespassing because she didn't. And right now, they are going to make sure that Vita understands how their authority is righteous and ubiquitous, and that she should be obsequious when dealing with them.
All right, Vita. So here's the thing. This house is still owned, okay? And there's people that watch that house, okay? I've already contacted the owner, and he wants to pursue charges against anybody that's on his property.
Okay.
So you are not to be on this property. If you come back, they're going to call, whoever,
Right,
okay?
I
And if I
understand.
catch you here, I'm going to take you to jail for trespassing.
Okay, well,
Do
you won't
understand
ever.
that?
Yes, sir, I do,
Okay.
and I won't
We're
ever
gonna
do
take-
that
We're going
again.
to take those off you,
I just.
and you can continue walking out to where you
Watch
live.
this.
Thank you.
Tears of
Let's
freedom.
a little bit up here, okay? You understand why we're here, though?
Tears of relief.
Yeah, because there's no such thing as freedom.
Well,
Freedom.
okay, you gotta stop twisting your wrist, or I can't get.
I ain't twisting it. That's just normal for me, sir.
Well, I
Look how little it is. I got some
So
really,
you just mentioned freedom, okay?
yeah.
You know what part of
That's
my
not
job is to
freedom.
do?
Listen to this cop
Listen
cleaning
up.
attempt.
I'm
Listen
sorry.
to me for a second. Do you know what part of my job is?
Yeah, handcuff people all the time, take them to jail so
that's
you can
part of
get
it.
money. That's
That's spot on. This little lady, bravo, brava, brava, bravissima. And I had to stop it also. Nice. 3DP. Nice. Thank you. I appreciate those €2. That's like $475. No, I'm just kidding, but thank you. It's worth a lot more than $2 regular dollars. The euro has always been super inflated in my head because I took a euro trip there one time and everything was super expensive because the dollar was weak. So I just like made it really bad in my head just so to soften the blow when I actually looked at the real bill. But yeah, did you guys see that? Did you see her crying those tears of relief and yelling freedom? That is she escaped with her freedom and she knew that. And she's letting them know the truth when they're trying to cosplay. You know what we're doing here? Trying to protect this person's rights. That Karen had no rights over that person's property. That person wasn't even there to tell her that she was trespassed. She was going to go move into that place maybe. She lived in an apartment building down the road, but she wants to maybe rent out a house, right? But she has dogs. She wants to see if the yard is big enough for her dogs. But then the neighbor barks at her, and she knows from that point on, and because of this, she's never going to rent that house. I wouldn't want to live next to those Karens.
what y'all do.
I don't get paid based on how many people I take to jail.
Oh, okay.
So,
but the jail does.
They don't either. So here's the thing. I get charged with enforcing the law. That's part of my job. Talking to people on the street who are, I've been told, are in conjunction with a crime I'm investigating. That's part of my job.
Just let
You
her
mentioned
go.
freedom. Part of people's freedom is property rights. Okay?
They should have
And
done
that's
that
what
for
you
my son.
violated. That's what you violated when you went onto their property. So
Yeah.
I'm here to enforce people's property rights.
And it takes.
But I know
She did not violate them, and this guy does a really good job of explaining that. No more than religious solicitors or UPS or Amazon comes onto your porch, knocks on your door. She walked onto their front yard. She didn't same right of he covered it in here. It's called if Rogue was still here, he would be able to tell me. It's like an implied right that we all have to be able to walk on somebody's yard, cut across there to, make it take a shortcut to the other sidewalk. You know what I mean? Here we go. It's called implied license, U.S. common law. The Supreme Court since 1951, Beard versus Alexandria. We can go and knock on the door and ask them for a vote. Political, unless it's conspicuously posted. You have to have a big sign that says no trespassing, and they didn't have that. You can't just have your neighbor yell at people, or you can. But once your neighbor yells at a person and they leave, that's it. They didn't commit a crime. They left when they were told to. So that's, she didn't do anything wrong, and this cop is trying to convince her that she did, and that she's lucky to get away. She is lucky though. Hey, 357, you were there last night. That was hilarious, dude. I loved watching that restream of a restream. All right, here we go.
I know that you don't agree with what we do.
No, I do.
But you're good to move along.
Okay, thank you.
You are free to go.
Thank you.
You guys good or you
Yeah, we're good.
With their officers conducting themselves like this, SPD is just rolling the dice on setting the stage for the citizens to successfully sue them in a civil rights lawsuit. If Mudd and Parker are handling trespass calls for service like this, then how many of the other 300 and something officers are doing the same damn thing?
25 minutes after her detainment. Listen to how these guys are boasting about how they handled this little woman.
Well, this chick is going to be tied to this. I'll put her in as a person of interest.
Yeah, because it wouldn't be that hard to be walking up here and filling a backpack and going back up to the apartments.
Her story doesn't even make sense. She claims she knew it was vacant and was going to the back to see if it was big enough for her dog. Like, that story doesn't make
It doesn't make sense.
She would have had no way to know it was vacant unless she
Was inside.
She says she's seen people moving from
yeah, she
here.
claims she saw people
So
move
she was
out,
thinking
but
about renting it.
No, but she hasn't seen anybody move out because
it's not even up
How
for
does she know what
Yeah,
she's
I know.
doing?
Somebody seen you
The
into
house
the backyard?
was,
Yeah.
well, see, I seen the people move out and they had a box of stuff. Way when they moved out, that was in the yard for, for free. So I seen they moved out, and I said, well, I'm gonna check out the backyard, see how big it is, because it's empty.
So you saw he was moving out, so you were going to check out the backyard, see how big it was, because you were
Right.
thinking about renting the house if it was
Correct.
up for rent.
Exactly.
And that's pretty cut and clear. But hey, welcome aboard, San Joaquin Valley Transparency. What's up, brother?
What up, guys?
Do you see that that thing on the top right? It says restream to your channel.
I don't see it.
Oh, it should be up there. Give you an opportunity to restream to your channel.
No, that's all right, bro.
Are you on your phone?
Yeah, I'm on my phone.
Ah, okay, probably a desktop thing.
No, that's cool. I was thinking about doing a live stream for him anyways. I can probably just do a video or live stream later.
Yeah.
But yeah, really quick, man. I just want to say that I watched at least half of that video right there, and that's probably some of the best breakdown that I've ever heard. I couldn't help but wonder if he actually has ever worked for or in forensics and stuff. So really good breakdown. I think this guy brings a lot to the table, man, and definitely be on the lookout for his future videos and stuff.
Yeah, he reached out to both of us. I think it was a little over a year ago, maybe. And
Right.
he sent us an email saying he appreciates how we do things and that he wanted to start this new channel, but it wasn't going to be, and it's not going to be. So don't expect him to do like a weekly thing. He's just churning out videos and getting every little thing. He finds really poignant stories like this one, and he does a forensic breakdown. Like, did you notice that he says, this is in Springfield, Missouri. Now, if this field training officer is training some of these 300 something other officers, like, I go and I get a roster of the police departments and I get their names and badge numbers and vehicle numbers, but I don't have it in my head how many cops are in that department. He does. He has it broken down like forensically. Exactly. So
Yeah.
your thoughts on the actual video itself?
On the actual video itself, definitely a Fourth Amendment violation. The woman was asked to leave and she left, and the cop, was pushing it, and she was right. And one I couldn't help but think while watching the video as well is one of the things that cops do is escalate every situation, and they try to get people riled up, and nobody likes to be talked down to. Whether it's our family members or our friends, whatever, I mean, you're from the hood, you might get shot over that shit. You know what I mean? But like I said, people don't like to be talked down to. And then when it's, the cops talking down to people, they get upset, and he mentions in the video how the woman had every right to be upset and she had every right to question him. And, and he didn't have the right to do what he did. And he explains that. He explains that very, very well. And I think
he explains her tone because the cop was getting mad at her. He's like, don't raise your voice. And she said, I'm not raising my voice. And what she was doing, he breaks down as an action that you do when you feel like you're explaining yourself needlessly. And it's just a lot of people would end up doing the same thing unless you're a robot.
Right. Yeah. If you want to keep watching the video, man, and we'll pause when there's good stuff on the video, because that guy does an outstanding job, bro. I think seriously better than I could possibly do. Like I've never worked.
I'm going to tell you right here to your face, he's the best. He is the best. He's better than Lackluster. He's better than Audit the Audit. He's better than you. He's better than anybody, man.
Yeah, everybody I believe does great, important work. But I think, like you're saying, this guy does bring something to the table, man. Like he seems to be pointing out almost every single little thing that needs to be pointed out. Now, look, I understand nobody's perfect, bro, and he's not going to be perfect. Nobody is, right? But this guy does bring a really good freaking eye and an understanding of what's happening to some of these videos. He also broke down the Sonya Massey case, and like I said, he did a good job there as well in the other videos. But this is the video that I watched probably like more. Like I said, I watched half of it, and I was extremely impressed, bro, by this guy's work.
Yeah. This is my 4th time watching this video, and each time it's like it's so good. And yeah, the way he breaks it down. Let's watch the rest and look how these cops are just so happy about how they roughed up this poor little old lady who did nothing wrong. And real quick, I want to say hi to Lion One and Blind Justice. Thank you very much for being here, y'all, and for Public Safety and Johnny Bravo and everyone else in the chat and watching in the future. Thanks. Yeah, these cops are confused because they're
Dude, like we were having a normal conversation. She started yelling. I was like, "Hey, why are you yelling at me?" And she's like, "I'm sorry." And I'm like, "Okay, see now we can talk normally." And then she started getting amped up again. I'm like, "Look, I don't want to put you in handcuffs. Why don't you put me in? Why not? I'm like, "All right, you're going in cuffs." She's like, "No," and I'm like, "Stop resisting. I will slam you."
And then
You hear that? I will slam you. He wanted to so bad.
Yeah.
Isn't that disgusting, y'all?
because I heard
Springfield, Missouri police. That's who this is.
you raised your voice at her, and so that's when I was like, I'm gonna keep an eye on that. And then I see her like starting to pull away from me and stuff. And I was like, oh no.
She wouldn't have got.
59-year-old.
She wouldn't have gotten far.
Her story just doesn't make sense. She lives at Battlefield Towers, just down the freaking street. Why the hell is she here?
She walks to Food for Less. So she said that she was walking here. She didn't have any bags. She just had her little pink purse or whatever.
So she did go to Food for Less.
Yeah, she went to Food for Less, and then on her way back, somehow, by the grace of God, she stopped right in front of us. So
yeah,
bad luck on her part, but
it's very bad luck on her part.
You guys hear that? They're self-aware. They know that them stopping somebody is bad luck, even though they're here to serve and protect. Why didn't those cops just say, ma'am, these folks must have gotten confused and thought that you were a burglar or something. That's silly. Let's get you out of here. Put your bags in the front seat. We'll get you home nice and safe. It's a hot day. Here's some water. Wouldn't that have been a better approach? Anyways.
yeah, she said she went. She said she didn't even go into the backyard. That she just
She
was.
said she made it to this tree, which is what they said. They said
Okay,
she was
that
where
makes
these
sense.
like where they start between the house.
Yeah. In the proper investigation,
That
I
makes
would have done
sense.
this first.
Where they start between the houses.
That makes sense. She's
That
like,
makes
and
sense.
she started cursing and doing all this at me. And I'm like, well, why were you going back there? And sadly, she wasn't in cuffs at that point. But I was like, why are you going back there? And she's like, well, I was seeing how big the backyard was because I seen people moving out. And if it was up for rent, I was going to rent it. I'm like, okay.
No, you weren't.
Okay.
So you were. Yeah, thank God.
You already rent a place. Why would you come rent this? Why would you come rent this? Why would you come rent this? Why would you come rent this?
Yeah, you already rent a place. Why would you come and rent? You already live in an apartment with neighbors 4 inches away. Why would you want to have a single family home?
Then we're gonna end this.
Look him up, y'all. It's wonderful.
That was the full 30-minute video, bro?
No, I fast forward through a whole bunch of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I was just pressed for time. I'm gonna take off here in about 10 minutes. But
For sure.
and let me get us back up here. There we go. Yeah, any other comments about that video that you can think of?
I don't know. I mean,
Fourth Amendment.
I think
Those-
here's what I can't help but think when I watched the video and I was listening to his breakdowns is the fact that I think that it's possible that when he breaks these videos down, let's say he grabs an incident immediately, like for instance, Long Island Audits was just arrested yesterday or the day before. What if he grabs his video or somebody that was just recently arrested and breaks it down? I believe that that kind of breakdown may possibly actually help people when they go to court. Just because of the fact that it's like laid out, like it's laid out for you guys, and it's like I said, I think this guy it brings a lot to the table, and that's what a lot of us need right now, man. There's a lot of channels out there getting arrested, and they don't have legal help. They don't have, somebody that can help them with not only the criminal case but the civil case. Attorneys are extremely expensive, and sometimes they're unreliable. And like I said, I think this guy brings a lot to the table. If we
Justice asked, what's the channel name? It's 4 Ensic Media, like the number 4 ENSIC Media.
I just dropped the channel link in the chat again, guys. Make sure you go subscribe to him.
Yeah, it's like, and you're welcome for us telling you about him because you're gonna enjoy every one of his videos. And
no doubt. I do believe that he's up there, on the level of some of these channels that grow fast. Like a lot, like I was binge watching the civil rights lawyer the other day, and damn, bro, he does some really good fucking work, man. Especially when he breaks down his own, the cases that he's worked on and shit. Like he's able to pinpoint exactly how things go down in the courtrooms, like the proceedings and all that shit, and the arguments on both sides, and I think that's amazing, man. And a lot of us can.
I'm sorry to interrupt. What, on that point, I think why is because he was a lawyer down here in Florida before he went up to West Virginia, or he's in West Virginia, yeah. So yeah, the thing is, if you want to find out like all the things that can go wrong with something, whether it's a real estate contract or a court thing, come to Florida. We'll teach you how to fuck things up.
Word. Yeah. No,
but yeah, I was just talking about John, that attorney, the Civil Rights Channel, with my former attorney who retired, Vince Pulowski of megajustice.com. You could still go and get them to help you if they can. Megajustice.com. I always promote them because they did a lot for me. And Vince Pulowski of Mega Justice retired. He's a good guy, and he likes the civil rights attorney too, and he just told me that yesterday.
Do you believe that we're going to get into a day where attorneys and lawyers will become obsolete, or do you think we'll need them forever?
Well, it used to be they were kind of obsolete, like not really, but back in the day before like the turn of last century, in like the late 1800s, it was around right before the First World War that people were dumbed down to where we are today. Before that, if you were from a prominent family, you were very well educated and you were able to defend yourself in court. You didn't need a lawyer, or else you were ashamed to your family. How does he not know how to defend himself in court? If you're an educated American, you should be able to do that. But then in 1900, something changed, like the feudal system stuff all over the place got changed into a tax collector system, and that's where we are today. They dumbed us down. You can't get the books that were written in the late 1800s to match up with the books that are written today. They're not giving you all the information that you need. That is, and it's messed up that there's like, what do you call it, arcane knowledge, but it's still at your fingertips. You can do pro se if you learn how to do it. Like I watch Rogan. You and he are two of the busiest guys in this community, man. And he's always working on his legal stuff, and he's got some good stuff coming up. I hope, and yeah. So he knows what he's doing, and we all should strive to be as knowledgeable with our rights and court procedures if we have to defend ourselves. You know?
Yeah, true that, man. I agree.
Yeah.
We don't know the terminology, the language of the courts. You know, that's something that Into Film used to always point out and say that we need to learn it. You know, and I agree. We definitely need to learn how proceedings work and how the courtroom works, and not only that, but you know, how these incidents happen and how they break down. And right now, like I said, I think forensic media has a good take on all of this stuff, man. And it's like I said, it's going to bring something new to the table. Just, start taking notes. I would recommend, and I've been doing that as well. You know, the other when he was talking about the video, the way he was breaking it down, I was like, damn, man, that was fucking smart. I'm gonna have to definitely use that in my work. You know, and we can all learn from it, man. We can all use it and implement it into our work because that's what makes us all better. You know, like one of the things that, you know, I think I understood from the beginning was I never believed I was that smart. So I knew that there was going to be a lot of people coming into this that had more of an understanding of how the law works, not just out in the streets, but in the courtroom and stuff like that. And, you know, I used to say it in my videos, man, I just have a big foot and I like to jam it in the doors and let the smarter people come in behind me. You know what I mean? And I know a lot of people like to say, oh, you know, don't say that you are smart. Well, yeah, man, you know, like a lot of us are smart in certain areas and some of us are not, you know, like I grew up without a pop, so I don't know how to do mechanic work, you know, on cars and shit. I won't fix your car, but I can sure, you know, edit some videos and do a lot of other shit, you know, and we all carry pockets of intelligence everywhere. And, you know, in this community, I think more people have learned, you know, the Constitution or at least the First Amendment, some of their rights more from this community than they have from schools. And I can't tell you how many years, you know, and I think we're just getting better and better. You know, like I've talked to several channels and I, you know, see that we're ever improving, kind of like weed, you know, the game, it ever improves, right? It's always something new.
I
But
had to put this one up because if you don't know, when in doubt, zip it. That's the best advice, man. Really, a lot of people wanna parrot what they've heard us say in a video and stuff. You can't just throw it out there if you don't know what you're talking about. I saw an auditor in Colorado saying, "You know what? You can't put me out of here because Glick versus Cuniff." That's because another auditor from Massachusetts told him to say that when it doesn't even apply in Colorado. That's a First Circuit Court of Appeals thing, not a Tenth Circuit. And it's sad because they have good 10th Circuit case law. He was in here, the guy who made it, Liberty Freak. Irizarry versus Yahia. And shout out to Leslie Sylvan, our awesome Athena of the community. She's our warrior goddess, and we love you. Thank you very much for your stalwart support always.
yeah, there's a channel out of Louisiana. Oh, my bad, bro.
No, I was saying so.
There's a channel out of Louisiana, and he reached out to me. I shared one of his videos, and it was a chief of police that was like really aggressive, and he tried to pretty much threaten to arrest him if he didn't identify. He gave up his ID. He didn't want to go to jail on his first audit. You know, I agree with the guy, but he wants to sue the chief, and he's having troubles trying to find somebody that will even take the, you know, that case or even try to sue. You know, it seems corrupt over there. So I got him in touch with the channel. Truth be told, audits. You know, I sent him his phone number and stuff like that, and because he's out there in Louisiana as well, and I'm trying to connect them, and maybe they can have some kind of unity out there where they kind of all back each other up, because we do see that in Florida. We've seen that in California a while back. We see that in Texas and certain areas where people back each other up, especially when they're kind of close to each other, you know. And you know, I believe that the more eyes we get on these certain situations or tyrannical, you know, government officials, you know, I think it's a good thing, man. So
yeah, but if what you said there in Louisiana, if you need unity anywhere, it's in Louisiana. You definitely need to watch each other's back out there, because gosh, out of the 50 states in our union, that's one of the most corrupt. And, you know, you've heard of the New Orleans police before. And it's probably as bad as Chicago and New York and LA, you know? So it just gets forgotten more. So they get away with a lot more. I remember there was a channel out there that was recording. Who was that? Was it PayPal Patty? Who got picked up and then dropped off somewhere? They're like, hell no, you can't record here. And they took him and dropped him off in the parking lot of a supermarket or something. You know what I'm talking about? They kind of like tried to pull the Rambo on him. Like, you got to move on, get out of our town.
Yep.
Yeah, that happened.
So what about you, man? What do you think about forensic media and his work and his breakdown of not just that video, but, you know, other ones as well, or maybe just that particular video?
Again, honestly, second to none. He does it so well that it's like you hear him cuss a couple times, but he catches himself and he blurs out his own cussing because he's passionate and still non-biased. He's passionate about what's happening and the law. He's not biased against the cop themselves, but even though he does point out their stupidity sometimes, so maybe a little, but he's really, like, again, the best.
I kind of like that he'll drop a little swear word in there every now and then. I feel like it almost kind of makes him, you know, human.
Yeah,
you know?
not an automaton, like
not this fucking fake ass, you know. Oh, I don't swear. Fuck.
Yeah, you know, if you
G.
guys want a voiceover to sound like pretty good, there's a guy named Andrew Baldwin on Fiverr. He makes great voiceovers. Let me see if I can present this real quick. Let's see if you can hear Andrew Baldwin's voice. You want to hear an example?
Hello.
Hell yeah.
I'm Andrew Baldwin, and I'm your voice for your project right here on Fiverr.com. Here in my home studio, I'll narrate and upload your voice.
The right and wrong of policing in America.
Voiceover project, whatever it might be.
That's him.
I do.
That's the voice that you've heard many times on another channel.
Let me see. Do it again.
Audiobooks, children's books, YouTube videos, narrations, whiteboards, sales presentations, you name it. The sky's the limit. Start.
In this previous video, Vita gets an A for escaping with her freedom. But yeah, that's him, bro.
I thought his name was John Lane.
No, that's the dude who does the channel, but he gets this guy to voice over.
So it's not a real name and it's not a real voice. Everybody.
Yeah.
No, that's cool though. I mean,
yep.
What can I say?
Yeah, it's a good voice and I've heard him on many other things before. Like I heard him narrating a video, and then I saw the credit was to Andrew Baldwin, and I looked him up, and I was like, yeah, that's him. It's the same voice. He does voiceovers for that channel. So
that's cool, man.
Yeah, if you want to have that voice for your channel, there it is. Go give $5 to Andrew.
Put it on a list of things to, like, apps to send to new channels when they come up. Like, put it on a list and then start hooking all the new channels up. Like, hey man, you know, bam, here you go, bro. Fuck, use this shit. It seems to work.
Blue Steel knows that voice. What's up, Blue Steel? Shout out to my brother here in Gainesville, Florida. You safe? Give me a 1 if you're gonna be all right. Because that hurricane's going to hit here in a couple hours. We are in the calm before the storm. There is not like a leaf moving out there. It's pretty like calm, like I said.
Yeah, John Eagle. He's also the voice of Villain's YouTube channel.
Yeah, he does a lot of voiceovers. So, what's up, Government Accountability? Good to see you. Did I miss your call? I hope you're okay down there. We were talking about you and oh gosh. We were talking about you and Grandpa GJ out there.
Yeah, shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Government Accountability, Blue Steel, 357. Lion One, John Eagle, Toe for Life, Jack
Hey, I want to
One,
give you another sneak peek. Hold on. Let me
Brandon Mitchell,
and you're gonna love this, San Joaquin.
The
This
Kiwi.
is right up your alley. I haven't uploaded this yet. This is raw footage. I'm gonna let you guys see. I went out to police department yesterday with Rogue Nation, and he went in to put in a complaint because there was a citizen who called for service, and then the cop was talking to that citizen, and he didn't like that she had her firearm on her hip, and she was standing on her property. But while we were making the complaint there about that cop, check this out.
Real quick, bro, shout out to your wife and thank you, both you and your wife, for the gift, bro, the Phillies hat.
Oh, yeah, thank you, man. Yeah, that's a badass hat. I like that hat, dude.
Right. Thank you, thank you.
All right, here we go. Can you see that guy?
Yeah, he's nuts.
Oh, go ahead. Okay. The question I had was, you guys ready? You ready for this?
Under the First Amendment, there are 5 rights that are protected. Do you know what they are?
It's religion, speech, press, assembly, and petition.
Excellent. You're one of 2 officers in 5 years of doing this that have seemed to get it right. So just as important as the first one is our Second Amendment, right?
He didn't like that one that much. But isn't that awesome?
Hell yeah, bro. They're
He got
finally
them
getting
all.
it. He's an avid watcher.
Bro, I'll tell you what, when he came back outside, because I was thinking about it, I was talking to Rogue. You'll see that later on in the video. He comes back out. I'm like, did you remember that because your high school football coach / civics teacher taught you that? Or did you watch it on a YouTube channel? And he says, we got some training. I was like, yeah, training on what? First Amendment audits.
Yeah.
It's great. I got all that on video.
And that's sick, bro, because you know, a lot of people try to discredit the work that we do and even try to discredit, the terminology or the community of First Amendment audits, bro. But look how many, and it's only a few cops, man, a handful. I think like this is a public service. You, myself, maybe a couple other channels have gotten a handful of cops that actually know the First Amendment, and all 5, because a lot of them can get 4 of them, but not all 5. And
Yeah.
and I think that we can attribute all of those across the board to the First Amendment auditing community. The people
Yep.
that have gone out there and done the work and have pushed that issue, that the obvious problem that we see, hidden in plain sight, what have you, you know. Yeah, bro. I think fuck, bro. We don't get paid for it. The fraud troll channels want to talk shit and all that and discredit the work that we do, bro. But we don't get paid for this, bro. So far we've trained 5 cops on the First Amendment. Yay.
Yeah.
5 motherfuckers.
5 friends.
Five.
We've come a short way. But no, I'm gonna like, not to discredit that cop. I gotta say, like, I did start asking him a few seconds earlier, and then Rogue still had to finish talking to him. So while he was talking to him, he was probably not thinking about what Rogue was saying. He was probably like preparing for when I did get around
Yeah.
to asking him the question. That's why he had it like off the top
Right.
of his head real quick. No, I am trying to discredit him. But props to that cop, man, for not only knowing it but admitting that he learned it from us in a roundabout way. He said he got First Amendment auditor training, and that's why he knew it.
Yeah.
So yeah, aside from that, making changes in this community by those little steps or big steps, like shout out again to Justin Pulliam for making that awesome case law. I'll read to you guys what it says real quick. in what the judgment said in his case. Give me a second. You guys can look it up. If anybody has access to Pacer or whatever, you can look up, and you could probably look it up without Pacer, but to get all the details, it's Pulliam versus Fort Bend, Texas, 2024. And quote, at the outset, I must address the threshold issue of whether the activities undertaken by Pulliam, a citizen who posts opinion-laden news coverage of law enforcement on social media channels, are protected by the First Amendment. The answer is unequivocally yes. Quote, freedom of the press is a fundamental personal right which is not confined to the newspapers and periodicals. And that was a quote within the quote.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's one of two case laws that auditors have made, including Liberty Freak in the Irizarry versus Yahia, that says that yes, we are the press. So take that, troll channels that think that, oh, these guys think they're the real news. I like the people who lie to us and make us feel better and reinforce our feelings. That's the real news. I don't like the ones who show us the hard facts, man on the street, and actual bad behaviors of our employees. I want to focus on that guy with the camera instead of the cop who I'm paying. Stupid.
Yep. Yeah. A lot of folks out there try to discredit, not just what we do, but, citizen journalists or, whatever you want to call yourself or call them, and journalists, being a journalist is a dangerous job, and yeah. Man.
Do you know any other jobs that go into, and not saying that we do, but many brave journalists go into combat zones with, bulletproof vests and stuff.
Yeah.
And we are not taking large risks like they do, but we are taking risks. So much so that I had a Vietnam veteran helicopter pilot, shout out to Lou Kraft, who put us up in his house for a week last year when Rogue was on trial in Georgia. Lou was a Vietnam veteran helicopter pilot. He survived that 1 in 4 chance. 1 in 4 survived. He survived that slim odds and made it out. And he says that Rogue and I are brave. I told him, shut up, dude. How can you say that, man? And he's like, look, think about it. What you actually deal with? And it's not bravery. I mean, I guess like American Idol contestants don't have talent. They just have the ability to stand in line and have good pitch. So it's not about bravery. We are able to withstand like a few years of litigation against us. You know what I mean? We're able to withstand handcuffs and stuff. Yeah, they rough us up, and poor Blind Justice, man, they really did a number on him when they locked him up, and a few other people. They strip your clothes off and try to say that you're suicidal when you're not, just to fuck with you. And you're in their custody, and they find those loopholes in the 8th Amendment to be able to torture you without really saying that they're torturing you and claiming that they're actually trying to help. That's the kind of stuff that it's a shame. These cops, instead of enforcing the law, they know how to break it and find loopholes to hem people up better than they know the law itself.
Yeah, like they abuse every policy that they possibly can. Everything they get their hands on, they abuse it. And
they're still doing a number on Blind Justice. He's been putting out his videos. Thanks for coming back. I know it takes time to heal, brother. You break an arm, you put a cast on your arm, right? They fuck with your head. You got to take some, Blind Justice time and heal. And I'm glad you're back. And whether you're completely healed or not, I want you to know that we're here to help you. And everybody go to his channel, please, and check out his last few videos that he's showing everything that he's been going through. So, and still going through.
Yep.
Thanks for your efforts, Blind Justice. That guy served. He is not proud of his service. He is proud of, himself, but it's like I don't blame people having regret for getting sent off to resource wars. He was a special operator though, and he has my utmost respect for that, because you didn't know at the time what you know now. So what you did was in your mind at the time was righteous, and I am 100% behind you doing that. So don't feel bad, man. Forgive yourself if you can. Take that part of the healing too, man. And so he did that, and he's still fighting for us. I think that's. I think it's fighting more for us now than ever. So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Oh, and Flex Your Freedoms came out with a documentary about the blind justice story. I did see that. That was awesome. Love Flex Your Freedoms too, man. Grandma's awesome.
Yes, I'll have to watch that. I haven't seen it
Any other questions, comments, agreements, disagreements?
yet.
I will put the link to Forensic Media's channel in the description after I'm done here, as well as I'm going to put the contact info for the Springfield, Missouri Police Department, so you can let them know that the world has seen them treat that 64-year-old lady like trash for no reason, and hope that they make the proper corrections to that behavior. Because, again, Forensic Media at the beginning of this video had 213 subscribers. I don't know if he's gotten enough of the message out to help that lady's situation and maybe bring some justice. But I know we can, right?
The hell yeah, we're known for that. The court of public opinion.
Yep. And again, keep an eye on the Forensic Media channel for those really important stories, because that's what he focuses on. He's not just churning stuff out, every story out there. He cherry picks, and he does a really in-depth job on it, every one of them.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm looking it up now again. What were you going to say?
I was gonna say thank you for showing it and having me on. And
He has 249 subscribers now. That's awesome.
hell yeah, we'll get him up there quick, bro. I'll probably do a live stream or do a separate video for him, but I want to see his channel take off, and I think it's already kind of doing that on its own. If you watch that video, it's got like over 12,000 views already. Outstanding, bro. Probably more than that.
Mainly. This is funny. No, but you're gonna do a video on that, and I appreciate you, man, so much, because, like I said, you're one of the hardest working dudes in this community. And contrary to not very popular opinion, you do so much work. There are, like, you guys know what the laws of average are, right? If you help out 10 channels a week and promote their stuff and put them out there and help them get over 1,000 subscribers where they can get a live stream going and keep them safe during a cop watch, or just get their story out from, Topeka, Kansas, when nobody else was looking there, you come to the talent scout of this community, and that's you. You help all those people out. You're bound to get 3 or 4 in 7-8 years of doing this that don't like you and hold grudges for a couple of years and pull out old stuff and like try to defame you and do stuff. But I'm here to let anybody know that I'm a pretty good judge of character, and I'm proud to call this man my friend and colleague. I'm proud of the work that he's done every day. He's helping out other channels. Yeah, it helps out his channel to do that. Because, you want people to work for free? He's working hard to help other channels grow and help this community grow and let people know their rights. Come on, man. You can't discount that. And then when people say, oh, that's all you do, you go out almost every week, too, with your sons, and you cop watch. So that's bullshit. When people try to say that you don't go out, that all you do is share other people's videos. So, again, I'm jumping to your defense on that one. And also, Oh, we're not done with you yet, David. All right. Direct D, let it go, man. It's apparent how it's like a grudge that you just you gotta let go, man. You know?
Yeah, I can't really make everyone happy. I'm never said I was like some kind of nice or great guy. I just continue to work, and it feels good to continue to put in the work. So I ain't done yet.
Listen, when you have a lot of material all around you, just within proximity, how are you like focusing on this guy for something that happened 2 years ago? You have a lot of people right next to you who need attention. If you're going to be the HR of the community and call people into your office and say, "Hey, I don't like how you lied about a pot charge 25 years ago," and to get your channel going because you're not out there right now, start focusing on actual scumbags. There are people who are abusing their girl, and I know you don't like that, man. So hold them accountable, dude. People.
Yeah,
Verbal abuse is as bad as physical abuse.
like I'm
Gas,
such a
narcissism. Go ahead, bro.
like I'm such a scumbag for whatever. But what about what happened to me? In my channel in 2020. Like, where's all the social justice in my defense and all the investigation and all the, this is all a lot of this is a personal attack on myself, and trying to bring me down. And that's fine. And that's fine. But, what about the work? You know what I'm saying? Like, can you discredit the work and the help that I've given, on this personal attack, this personal attacker, and
That's a fair point, Amish. I mean, I saw Poor Dirt Farmer do that for a little bit. Shout out to Poor Dirt Farmer. I hope you're safe in the storm. But when you start looking at other people in this community who don't get a penny of your taxes, they're not working for the government. They didn't get training. You didn't do a background check on them, and you start attacking them, and you realize, oh, I'm getting views for that. Yeah, that's a formula. If that's the formula that you want to take, though, man, it's very disappointing. You're saying you're disappointed in us because we don't see the weasel behind the. No, this guy's not a weasel. He's a good man, and I've known that, and I've been able to be a good friend to this man and help him grow and be a better man. I'm sorry, I'm going to take credit for that. And you're not the same person you were 2 years ago, right?
Oh, me? I mean, I'll probably always be an asshole, and I'll probably always throw punches if I feel punches are being thrown my way.
Yeah.
I do say things sometimes and do things sometimes to fight with people, but as far as like the work and the stuff that I do, I have good intentions, and I don't think I ever had bad intentions. You know what I mean? And
It's so unfair that people get mad at you for being mad. If somebody attacks me, I'm going to retaliate. You are the Israel of our community. You have a disproportionate retaliation every time somebody fires a rocket. You always send a fleet to level 3 city blocks, right? That's just you because they mess with you. And you know what? I don't blame you for defending yourself against people. I've heard people calling you and saying, "Hey, how come you're using my thumbnail?" When a whole bunch of other people were using your thumbnails, they just targeted you. That's not fair, man. So
and there's
I hope you can reconcile too. That's something that would be great.
there's a lot of stuff that I've had behind the scenes with certain people, certain channels, certain big channels, and a lot of stuff that a lot of people don't know about, disagreements or whatnot. And but I try to stay focused. I don't try not to go public with that stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so, I just try to keep moving forward with it all, with the work that I do. And you call me an asshole all you want. You know what I'm saying? Call me an asshole all the fuck you want, but you can't discredit the work that I do.
Yeah, I think everything that you've accused him of, he's owned it, and I don't think he's lied about anything. I haven't seen him lie about anything. I don't tolerate liars either. And I'm gonna go ahead and Mars Life is reconciled with him. I think we can all learn and grow from this and move on without just going in a downward spiral that is not productive. Find what you really want to get off your chest. Get to the bottom of it. Was it a picture that he took with somebody that you don't like 2 years ago? And you pointed out, hey, man, you're being a hypocrite. You say you don't like that guy. Why are you taking a picture of it? Was that it? Did that trigger you? You know, yeah, I think that's what it is, man. And maybe he just felt different about that guy. I talked to him about that guy, too. I had my differences with that guy. And we're talking about Brian, the Here's the Deal dude. You called him your mentor in that thing. I think you give him way too much credit, dude. He didn't mentor you. He helped you out of a quick jam one time. You know what I mean?
No, I said he's been a mentor, to
Yeah.
my work. I didn't say he's like been my mentor. Like fuck, that's the only guy I look up to. Nothing like that. I've taken a lot of the things that he said. Like for instance, to give an example, to refer to politicians as political parasites. I think that's a damn good description of kind of how they are, how they operate, and stuff like that. So I take a lot of things from a lot of different people. As a matter of fact, I try to give credit, where credit is due along the way. So
I think it might be my connection. I think that hurricane is rolling in. Did that cut out for everybody, or was that just me? Yeah, Brian is good people. I talked to him recently after our disagreement. He shared a video of mine without asking me about it. And it's not that he can't share my videos. It's just I wish he would have asked me first so I can tell him, oh, here was the follow-up. This is what happened to Cammed Up Caveman at that same location. This is why that lieutenant became a cop. And we had a good, back and forth about that. And he understood, and he took it down. And he said, we're good. But the next day, he posted a community post saying, many people have been asking why I took this down. Rice Crispy asked me to. And what I loved was that you guys had that like Bush League move backfire on him by saying, thanks for respecting Rice Crispy as much as we do. That was cool of you. So thanks for recognizing that too. I'm going to let him share whatever video with, just do the fair contribution to the original work and fair use it, right? And ask me about it. I can tell you which video I want you to put out there, because there's a lot of good videos in my backlog that didn't get the attention they should have. And if you have a lot more subs than me, please take Sergeant Folkroad of the Lee County Sheriff's Office. That monster needs attention. He's probably a millionaire now. He retired. He's got his fat pension. But if you put it out there and somebody who is a victim of his sees him and they're like, oh, that's the name of that sergeant that fucking, threw all my shit in the river or whatever. You know what I mean? We can, get that guy the attention he deserves with communication. And again, take something without permission. It is stealing. Just as bad as an orange that you did 4 videos on in one day. It's a video, which was way more than what an orange is worth. Thank you, Barbara. I appreciate that. I hope everyone around us is safe too. But yeah, again, the whole beef is not over him accusing that stuff. I think it's more deep rooted, and you guys got to get down to it. And I can see both sides of the $3,000 issue. I think maybe he thinks that he worked it off, or perhaps not. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I don't really want to keep talking about that kind of stuff.
Right.
But him and I had a deal, and I feel like he didn't come through on his end of the deal. And what I kept saying, what would happen, that my channel would get demonetized because it wasn't fair use. That ended up happening, and it took a while for me to get the monetization back on that channel, and I had to delete all the videos that he had put up there. So. Hey, it is what it is, man. What can I say? I'm not gonna cry about it, but that's the truth on my end of it all. So.
The restream of the restream last night was fun. Direct D, you should put up your version. Since we know Val doesn't put up his, put up yours, man. I want to see that again. That was hilarious. Thank you, Gregory. I appreciate the thoughts. Yeah, we'll be safe. That's the thing. Is like I saw Solo Yacker go live yesterday, and he's like a lanky dude, and he's doing all this stuff like a weatherman in Rogue Nation. We're here in the office cracking up, and a lightning struck, and he went like, it was hilarious, dude. You got to see it. But yeah, we are. He's going live, telling all his people on his 2A channel to be prepared. I think he's speaking to the choir. I think everybody who watches this channel has 25-year shelf life food somewhere in their pantry, or they got a fire starter kit somewhere. We're gonna be all right, man. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, I'll tell you what though, man, like I really don't care for drama. You know what I mean? Like I care for the work, and I believe that even there's a lot of channels out there that I bump heads with, and that I do miss their work. You know what I mean? And I wish I could see more of it. And I think there's a bigger picture here, and you can't doubt, what side I'm on. You know what I'm saying? Like, go ahead and try and keep trying and shit, and you're not going to tire me out. I'm just going to continue to keep working and continue to do what I do. And I think it's important that we all put in as much work as we possibly can, because none of us are here forever. Everything is temporary. You know what I'm saying? So
Just keep this live up. You're going to restream it later. Sure. You have my permission to restream it. Thanks for asking. Yeah,
Yep.
it's sad that it's like turned to that. That's what we're trying to steer you away from, and that's direct D. The problem is that you're making a huge deal out of trivial stuff like it's major issues when no one cares, really. Use your power for good, please. That's what Sound King has been doing. That's what I pointed out. The secret to failure, folks, is trying to please everyone, and you've done a lot of work. And again, your work speaks for itself. When you have hundreds of people who can come to your defense if you needed them to, they're not going to come on here right now live, but I know for a fact that I've heard people supporting you in the last few weeks more than ever, because you've helped them all out. They all have their own stories about how you helped them out. So of course it's not a 100% success rate on helping people out.
yeah, what's crazy is after all that drama and shit, a lot of people have actually hit me up on emails and text messages and private messages on Instagram or whatever, however they can get a hold of me. And they're just being like, you know what, bro, like I try to look at it from all angles, and I can't help but think about, you helped my channel, and I appreciate that, man. And I look at all the crap, and I just got to say, man, that you've done great work, and continue to keep your head up and do great work. I got your back. And, I'm receiving emails trying to turn me against you and trying to have me do this to you and your channel. But, a lot of people have actually reached out and said that they have my back. And what's crazy, bro, is, I didn't, some people, I didn't even think they had my phone number. Everybody's kind of just reaching out and saying like, yeah, man, keep up the good work, bro. You've been doing it for a long time. So.
Another thing, I see the hypocrisy saying, don't tell me what to do, I'll do what I want, or all this shit. And then you're out there saying, you need to work on your thumbnails. You need to stay away from that channel. You need to not be friends with him. Like, dude, like, that's so hypocritical. I'd never tell another man who to be friends with. Like Ninja was friends with that News Now Houston guy, and I've never liked that guy. And I'm gonna let him know, I don't like that guy, but I'm not gonna tell you to stop being friends with him. Like Ninja was trying to tell me to stop being friends with you. No, man. I mean, I'll make my own decisions. I make my own opinions. And what was awesome about Philly is that there were some conflicting opinions before we all met each other. There were several channels there that didn't totally see you how I see you, and they got to meet you and they walked away with a different point of view, and they actually see the facts of the matter. How, wait a minute, hold on, You're not the only one who shares other people's videos, but you are the only one who they attack for doing that. Why is that? Why is that?
Yeah, I mean, I can't help it. You know, fuck it. Let them. And in reality, man, like, I'm glad, you know, they come after me instead of, you know, because I got thick skin, man. I can keep fucking coming back and keep working. And
My grandma
look,
used to say that. I hope people talk about me rather than my friends, you know? Thank you, Gregory. Super sticker. I don't know how that works, but thank you, bro.
yeah, I lost my main channel for 4 months in 2020, bro. Like,
But you got it back, and you've helped a lot more people since then, and you've helped this
yeah,
community.
and that shit hurt me and my family. You know what I mean? Like, where's all the justice in that? You know, where's all the outcry? You know what I'm saying? Where's all the fucking investigating? Where's all the
Yeah, why
injustice?
is
Where's the
rehab?
fucking
Let's
where's
rehab
this?
it real quick.
So
You got
where's that? Yeah,
down. People made illegal and false copyright claims against you, saying that they were Becky O. The
right.
real Becky O had to actually write a letter to YouTube, didn't she?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I'll
she
get her
did.
on the phone right now if that needs to be done, because you know let's find out why exactly. It wasn't for. And you know what? I think you give yourself too much credit on that priceless channel thing. I don't think one single channel, even if you have 5 different channels, I don't think you can take a whole channel down, man.
Well,
YouTube has an algorithm designed by these kids who are riding up and down scooters in San Francisco paying $10,000 a month in rent that they don't even know what their machine is doing anymore. You know what I mean? So don't act like you know what's going on. And I'm talking to you. we are not geniuses. That algorithm changes every day, if not, you know, every minute. So people claim to know, oh, you got to put this and you got to do this, and yeah, that'll probably work, and then it doesn't. You know, it just changes up.
yeah. What can I say, man? I mean, shit. Like, I'm the worst person in the world. What about what happened to me, motherfucker? Like, damn, bullshitter.
Shout
Where's the
out to
just?
Jay.
Where's all the justice? Yeah, no shit. Shout out to Jay.
We were talking about it. You said that you always give me credit for your new love of traveling and stuff. And I
Yeah,
told you,
no shit. True.
it is due. It was Jay Surreal who got you that bug. The first time you traveled was with him.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
second time you traveled was because of him.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
true,
Acura Amanda, I miss her too, but you know what? She's doing great work as a private investigator. Lenny, thanks for being here, by the way, and all your support always. Appreciate you, brother.
Have a good day, Barbara.
So D, I don't know if you could get my number from somebody if you want to call me and talk to me, or not. I don't care. I just think that maybe you are usually a level-headed dude. I think I can talk to you and, you know, help you raise your self-awareness, dude. Just like I do for all my friends.
What's up,
And anybody
Samantha?
who I care about. You know, if I didn't care about you, I wouldn't even put that offer out there, dude. You know? And I think it's needed, dude. If you can look inward, help yourself grow, maybe without my help, that'd be great too.
Yeah, whatever differences I had with Direct D, I fucking used to text him and shit like that. He had the opportunity to fucking,
And
talk to
I
me and
didn't.
fix everything behind the scenes, you know.
Yeah, I didn't need your number. I was saying you could get mine. I'm saying you could reach out to me. I'm not trying to reach out to you. Don't try to change things, dude. You're doing that again, and it's not cool, because it's not. Don't get it with me, dude. Don't get it with me, because I didn't do anything to you. I'm trying to fix the situation. All right. And you don't want me to? Okay, but I'm gonna try anyway, because it's pretty dumb. Yeah, Crispy is the bro. I'm trying to be the bro. We gotta stop this bullshit. Focus. The mission. I'm gonna give Kevin a hard time about that forever. Thank you, Liberty Troll. I appreciate you. You're a legit guy too, man. Liberty Troll, man. I love the way that you put that one dude in his place. The guy said he said, "You touch me again, I will forever change the way you brush your teeth." That's the best comeback I've heard so far. You're gonna have fun with this later? How? How so, bro? Manipulating and changing things up, or you're gonna play it? Play it how it is. Be legit. Come on, man. Rest in peace to Ebor Rob too. Thanks, Jack, and thanks for your support too. Always, Jack. Yeah, he would have. Ebor Rob. I don't know if he would have loved this. He would have been passionate about it for sure. You know, we try to help people not just, learn their rights, but help people help others. That's called force multiplication. And how you've done it, that nobody can take that away from you, bro. You've done that. Rest in peace to DPN also.
Yeah.
Yeah, force multiplication. We are trying to get everybody doing this. That way, like when somebody catches a case and they're before the court, it's not a jury full of people watching this for the first time. You know what I mean? And shocked by us talking to, like, how dare he talk to the police officer? You know, they're working overtime in Hollywood to put out Blue Bloods and other brainwashing shows, and Marky Mark is a great guy fighting against the evil masses when they're like supposed to be a moral majority. That's all bullshit, and they're working that every day on TV. Every cop show that is on there is all putting them in a good light and showing them as awesome people. Except this Netflix movie that just came out about a Marine and civil asset forfeiture. That's a good one. If you guys haven't seen it, it's kind of like campy, but they did make a reference to a real thing that happened. This one police department was doing civil asset forfeiture so much, they bought themselves a margarita machine. And that's in that movie too. So yeah, there's so much working against us and our rights and to keep the status quo that we have to, get the truth out there and let people know what our rights are and make that more ubiquitous.
I have a
Go ahead.
question, maybe for like maybe a topic that should be, addressed. And this goes to Direct D, a question for Direct D as well. There considers himself a bigger channel as well. He is a bigger channel now, and same thing. I've talked to a couple other channels, and folks seem to have the idea, and I've heard Direct D say this as well, that there is no community. There is no First Amendment auditing community. And a lot of people hate the idea about it, even though it's unofficial, on legal terminology, but at the same time, we hear them like just hating the idea of it. But what's crazy, it's an unofficial term. It's a YouTube community, and it helped gain a lot of support, not just throughout the states from sea to shining sea, but, across the pond. And a lot of people watch what we do and they get empowered and they want to do it too. A lot of people, they do a lot of dumb shit, and I get it. Like the other day we seen, a video of a news segment, and it was Katie Kidman sent it to me, and it was of the guys that got arrested, I think in LA, and they were dressed in costumes and shit. Like they're recording people while eating, and there's just like a big old fucking shitstorm. And on the news segment it said that these are the First Amendment auditors. And I'm like, just watching this shit go down, and I'm like, well, I get it, man. That's why there's people like DirectD and James Freeman and some other channels that hate the idea of being a part of this community. You know what I mean? But why not go live and talk about that kind of shit and what they do, and why not try to separate or preserve the idea of this wonderful YouTube community instead of, I don't want to say run from it, but maybe just tarnish or maybe help tarnish the reputation of it, you
Yeah.
know, instead of calling it out, instead of trying to find a way to preserve, you know, the greatness of it. You know, try.
If somebody has a case against the government right now, and I don't care if they're a fucking liar or not, if they have a case against the government, don't help the government by digging up stuff and making live streams about it. You don't think that the prosecutors are watching them? Oh, I didn't think about that. That's a good idea. Tag that on. Come on,
Yeah,
man.
I just think that there's more important shit to talk about, you know,
Yes.
about maybe moving forward, maybe trying to help situate shit. All right, fine. You called me a fucking asshole, man. That's fine. I'm an asshole, I'll admit it. I'm a fucking asshole. All right, fine. There it is. You know, I throw rocks and shit. You know what I mean? But I mean, I'm still fucking on point, you know what I mean, on what I'm doing and why I'm here, and I'm still trying to figure it out and trying to figure out ways to create change for everybody, to encourage people to at least record their own government interactions, because government's a fucking business, right? And everything you do with government is a fucking transaction with your business with it. And why not record it? Instead of discouraging people, why not encourage people to record their fucking government interactions, transactions, fucking shit? You know, what's this whole drama shit about? Like, you know, there's a lot of shit. There's a lot of it out there, man. Not just people talking. Yeah, not just people trying to throw shade on me, but there's people trying to throw shade on everybody. And I'm like, fuck, bro. Don't you guys see the patterns of the fucking bullshit and why we're all doing what we're doing anyways? Look, we're all going to bump heads, man. One of the homies called me and he's like, yeah, man, this dude's trying to turn me against you. But he's all, fuck that, bro. He's all, you've always been a real one with me. And I'm like, cool. And he said, one of the things that you said was, you know, makes sense, is we're all kind of like alpha males, man. We're all don't like to be told what to do. That's probably why we're all here. We're gonna bump heads with each other. We're gonna do a lot of dumb shit, talk shit.
We're
you know
not
what I
all
mean?
like
And
there's
he
a
goes,
lot of people who claim they are and they ain't. You know, you can't be an alpha.
yeah,
male
true.
You're crying on day 3 in jail, Chili. That's not alpha male.
Yeah, so man, and I do think that there was a lot of great things about the First Amendment auditing community. It brought a lot of people together. You know, even though there are a lot of different people with their political opinions and shit like that, it's amazing because a lot of people were involved in it from every political, you know, whatever side of this political spectrum you're on, or whatever race or nationality you are, age. None of that shit made a difference. You're like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna do a First Amendment audit, or I'm going to get out there and I'm going to record and hold, you know, government accountable. And man, you know, like, we should improve, man. You know, we should improve, not just ourselves, but our work. I try to improve myself and my work, man. Look, and I try to take constructive criticism. I was just talking to Susan Bassey yesterday, and she was like, try to swear less, David. It's a little cringe for me. You know, I'm like, fuck. All right. Sorry, shit. And, you know, but hey, man, what can I say, bro? What can I say, man?
Hey, look, I don't want to end it on the drama thing. Please go back. If you just got here, go back to the beginning and watch a little bit of the breakdown of the video from Forensic Media. But please also go to Forensic Media, subscribe to his channel. It's something that you'll regret. He has 8 videos on there. Watch them all and see the in-depth analysis that he does on everything. He does it better than anybody I've ever seen. So that's what this was about. I just wanted to throw in that my appreciation for all the hard work that you have done in this community. It should not be discounted. It should not just be thrown away because some popular channel now has some, 300,000 subscribers. That's why he feels that now is the time to put it out there. You said that a few times. That's not good, man. Not good. So let's end it on a positive note. Thank you for all the good work that you've done. I hope that we can help Forensic Media's channel, like you've helped out so many channels, and I hope that he can help citizens see the truth behind these police interactions and understand that they're not really going out there helping us all the time. They're really generating revenue, and we're trying to expose that so we can make a positive change. Maybe just have police that fight crime only, not traffic laws and all that stuff, you know. All right, so I got to boogie out of here. Any final thoughts?
Just get your family safe, bro. Shit, hit me up later when you're at the hotel.
Yeah, that's if we evacuate. It's pretty calm. I think we're gonna stay here, but
all right,
brother. Thank you for your concern, though, and thanks to everybody who's watching now and in the future. And so go to Forensic Media and check that out.
Yep.
Thank you. Later. Bang.